Hello, welcome to a new episode of What the F. Apologies for the absence of late to those few who watch the videos. I just haven't, there are no subtopics recently have come to be of interest to me. Like, you know, I prefer to talk about subjects and a topic, you know, that I'm really interested in. Like, and as is made apparent by like the Rick Mail videos that I've made and the topics of Superman and geeky things that I've done, because these are things that I actually care about. So rather than do like a regularly scheduled video, which I tried to do, but it's just, you know, like other things kept getting in the way, too busy, like, you know, couldn't make time for it sometimes. So I thought instead I'm just gonna do videos when a topic, you know, comes up that is of interest to me, that I feel like I want to say something about. Now, three topics have recently come up, so I'll be recording 3 videos in quick succession, probably about one a week. But again, it won't be regular, a regular schedule as I tried to do before. It'll be more like when I feel like it. When I feel I've got something to say on a topic, then I'll do a video. Now, recently I was one of the reasons I haven't done a video in a while is I was recently on holiday in Spain for 12 days with my family. And while I was there, the topic of this video came up, because during the 12 days I was there, it was roughly about the first 2 weeks of July, San Diego Comic-Con 2015 went down. And you know yourself, like, you know, I've spoken about it in the past, you know, San Diego Comic-Con is where the movie studios bring the movies that are coming out next year, later in the year. TV shows do it, big announcements are made, and it's essentially geek mecca. You know, the Muslims have Mecca, the geeks have San Diego Comic-Con. And I wouldn't mind going to it someday myself, but it looks huge. I don't necessarily have a phobia of crowds, but I just get angry with crowds. I don't like crowds, I hate them. So I don't know how I do in that San Diego Comic-Con, given the size, the enormity of it. So but what was exciting about it is, as I said, movies and TV shows use it to make their announcements of the coming year. You know what they've got coming up. Like Star Wars had a big panel where they had, like, you know, people from the new movie and the old returning cast that are coming back, stuff like that. But the big topic for me, and the topic of this video, is, of course, as you may know, I've done it twice in the past, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, I've made a couple of videos in regards to the film about the varying announcements, like Ben Affleck as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I've essentially been given, as each development comes out, like, you know, whether it's a picture or casting news, I like to say my 2 cents on it. Now San Diego Comic-Con was a couple of weeks ago. It's been a while, so apologies for the lateness. But I've done, as I said, I've done videos on this very topic whenever a new tidbit of information comes out. Like the last video I made was in relation to a 2-minute teaser trailer that they released, which was brilliant. Like, you know, it was a teaser trailer. It didn't say too much about the plot. You know, it just, you know, you get the vibe you got from the 2-minute trailer that they released. It was in the past, the trailer released in the past was that not everyone's enamored with Superman. You know, some people are questioning his motives and they want him to leave or something. And it seems to indicate that old Batman, you know, doesn't like him, thinks he's dangerous, and, you know, is out to get him. Kind of like from as I've mentioned before, the graphic novel, The Dark Knight Returns. And that's been the prevailing thought, because it's called Batman v Superman versus, so obviously they're going off against one another. But recently at San Diego Comic-Con, Zack Snyder, the director, he had a panel in which he invited all the cast of the movie onto the stage. Now, obviously, he had the regulars. You know, he had, like, you know, Henry Cavill, Superman, Amy Adams as Lois Lane, and then he had on with him the other people, like most notably, as of course, Ben Affleck, Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. They had Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, Jeremy Irons as Alfred, and yeah, they had Holly Hunter as well on, but she's an original character. I mean, the characters I've just mentioned have existed in the comic books and in the films for a long time. But Holly Hunter is in the movie as well. Great actress. She plays an American senator. I don't really know her name. The trailer doesn't specify. But so it'll be interesting. She's an original character, so it's going to be good to see who she is in the movie. But they had a panel. They answered questions and such like that. But the big thing was they debuted a 3.5 minute trailer for the movie, which goes into greater detail than has ever gone before. Because we've had images of Ben in the Batman suit, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and stuff like that. We've seen all the pictures and the images and stuff like that, but not a whole lot in terms of the plot. Because Zack Snyder has said that they're not making The Dark Knight Returns. It's based on that, the fact that Batman and Superman go against one another. They're kind of loosely basing it on that, but it's not the exact story of that graphic novel. So people have been wondering, well, what's the movie going to be about? What are the details? Stuff like that. And they decided to, Zack Snyder debuted a 3.5 minute trailer for the film, which was fucking brilliant. Now again, for legal reasons, I think I can't show you the trailer because I've had issue over the past. In past videos, I made a Doctor Who video, and I mean most recently I made a Rick Mail tribute video. And they I get the finger wagging from YouTube going, naughty, you can't be doing that. Which I find interesting because there's a shit ton of stuff that I would imagine is copyrighted material on YouTube all the time. Yet they're going to come after me for using 20 seconds of Rick Mail as Lord Flashheart, So legally, I would love to play for you the 3.5 minute trailer because it's fucking phenomenal. But again, I can't. What I can do is what I did in the past: screen captures. Because these are just pictures. So essentially, I watched the entire trailer, and I screen captured it. Rather, I mean, there was a lot of scenes, so I screen captured the best parts, the best moments. And that's what you're going to see here. So as soon as I stop fucking yapping on, you'll see the screen grabs that I got from the 3.5 minute Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice trailer that was debuted at San Diego Comic-Con. So, here they are. Now, even those pictures alone, even though you didn't see the trailer, odds are, if you're watching this fucking video, you've seen the trailer, and it was fucking phenomenal because it went into more in depth. Like the trailer begins with Holly Hunter, as you know, she's an American senator, and she seems to be chairing this Senate committee that is trying to debate, well, who is Superman? What are his motivations? What does he want? Well, he's saving people and fucking helping people out. It's fucking obvious his motivations, but you know they want to question him obviously because of what happened in Man of Steel. The events in Man of Steel, Zod came down, wreaked havoc, and then there's in fighting with between Superman and General Zod destroyed a shit ton of fucking Metropolis. So naturally they want answers. They're like, why? Why did this have to happen? Who are you? What are your motivations? What? All this. And you know, it shows Superman, you know, landing in front of I think this is the Senate building in America. And there are protesters nearby. You know, they're like, you know, protesters who clearly don't like Superman. Like, there's one sign that says Superman is an illegal alien, and you know, stuff like that. And it's clearly there are some elements in society in the movie that don't like Superman. You know, they're suspicious. You know, who is he? You know, what does he want? You know, he's out of control and all that. And you know, the trailer then shows Superman going into the Senate chamber, obviously to answer questions. You know, because obviously they want to talk to him, and you know he's there to answer. And what's brilliant then is that it cuts to the events of Man of Steel when Zod and Superman were fighting. But it shows Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, not as Batman. He doesn't have the suit on, but it shows Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. So it's indicating that Bruce Wayne was in Metropolis that day, and one of the buildings that you know got leveled was one of his, because there's the bit in the trailer where he runs into the carnage and he seems to save a little girl, and you can see on the ground beside him as he's comforting the little girl a sign from the building like Wayne Financial, I think it said. But either way, it was the Wayne Enterprises logo. So clearly, Bruce Wayne has business in Metropolis, and he was there that day, and he witnessed the carnage. Excuse me. And it just looks like, you know, fucking the trailer. Then, like, you know, it goes on, and like I'll provide a link to the trailer in the comments section, because you know you should see it. And it carries on like that. It carries on to indicate that you know, fucking Batman has been around for 20 years. I mean, that's Ben Affleck said that in at a Comic-Con, that in the movie Bruce Wayne has been Batman for 20 years, and he's a little bit jaded. You know, he's a little bit burnt out, if you will, because like there's a line in the trailer where he says, you know, 20 years in Gotham, how many good people are left? How many stayed that way? So he's kind of like, you know, questioning what he's doing. He's like, what's the point? Things ain't getting any. It seems to be that things ain't getting any better in Gotham, because he's talking about, and he goes, I've been doing it 20 years. What's really changed? Now, and he sees Superman as a threat, you know, because he's a powerful man. I mean, there's a moment in the trailer where Clark is talking to his mother, Martha Kent, and she's talking about how people fear what they don't understand. You know, she's like, you don't own this world a thing. You don't have to be doing this. You know, you don't owe them anything. And it's true that, like, you know, people are afraid of, like, if there's something comes along, you don't understand it, you don't get it, you're generally suspicious and afraid of it. And I think that's one of the primary things in the movie. It seems to be that, like, you know, people don't know who Superman is, and they're afraid. So they're afraid of that. They're afraid of the unknown, and they don't know who he is and what his true intentions are. Even though we know his true intentions, he just wants to help people. They don't know that. You know, he's helping people. There's a great scene where he, you know, there seems to be a flood, and you know, normally somebody's on the roof of their house. They painted SOS on the roof. This family in their flooded house painted the Superman symbol on their roof, and there's Superman hovering above the house, ready to help. And there's a moment where some space rocket explodes. He catches that. He helps out there. But basically, it would seem Bruce Wayne is caught up in the kind of, you know, the hype of like, "Ooh, who's this? What? He's afraid of him. He's scared." And he says, like, he has the power to wipe out the entire human race, and we have to destroy it. So that is basically what the film is. And there's brief glimpses as well, with great footage of Wonder Woman. So I mean, it doesn't. It seems to indicate that Wonder Woman gets involved in the fight. She gets well in because they first show her as Diane Prince, which is her, I suppose you could say, is her alter ego. And whether or not they know about Wonder Woman, I mean, there was a slight indication that maybe Bruce Wayne knows, because there's a moment in the trailer where what looks like they're coming out of some kind of gala function or something, and Bruce Wayne is just staring at her, and she's staring back at him with a kind of I suppose maybe a suspicious look. Now, I don't know if that's true. I can only give my interpretation, but I was thinking maybe, because it's called Dawn of Justice, this is the setup for the Justice League movie. So I was thinking what it is maybe Bruce Wayne is suspicious of Superman, and maybe I don't know, but maybe Wonder Woman isn't, because she's not necessarily an alien, but she has great physical strength. She has powers similar to Superman. She's not an alien. She's not Kryptonian, but she has similar powers, so she maybe would understand him better than Bruce Wayne would. So maybe there's some kind of debate going on. Should we invite him into this thing we're setting up? Justice League. Again, I don't know. They don't clearly say that. And what I found, one of the interesting things about the trailer I found was great was Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons, and we got the first glimpse of him, and it's nothing spectacular. I mean, he doesn't have his black coat and bow tie on, typical butler kind of thing. But Alfred was always more than just a butler, That may be how it started, but like in Chris Nolan's Batman trilogy, Alfred was kind of Bruce Wayne's dad, because Bruce Wayne was only a little fellow when his mom and dad were killed, so it was Alfred who looked after him. So you could almost say he was his stepdad. So it's interesting. It seems that Alfred is on Superman's side, because you hear the voiceover of Ben Affleck saying he has the ability to wipe out the entire human race and we have to destroy him. And then you see moments of confrontation where, like, Batman is in the armored suit, jumping down on top and just basically stomping Superman into the ground. And there's a voiceover bit where you hear Alfred saying, "You want to go to war," and saying he is not our enemy. So it seems Alfred is kind of, on Superman's side. I mean, he'll obviously, he loves Bruce, and he'll always be there for Bruce to help him out. But he seems to see things a bit more clearly than Bruce Wayne does. He doesn't seem to be letting the fear and the hype bother him. Because again, as he said, he is not our enemy. So he seems to indicate that, like, he's probably maybe the voice of reason that will try and calm Batman down, and try and see the good side of it. Now, we also saw more of, I've already said Wonder Woman, and we also saw more of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. And that was something I was looking forward to, because, when it was announced, Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, I was like, really, him? But then again, a lot of people said the same thing about Heath Ledger when he was the Joker, and that was fucking phenomenal. Sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes people can't see a particular actor in a role, but you see, like, he's a good actor, and he seems to be doing all right. Like, and his role obviously in the movie is the villain. Now, he might not be the super villain. Like, they weren't exactly clear. Like, there's a moment in the trailer where what appears to be Lex Luthor's assistant, an Oriental woman, is bringing in a case guarded by soldiers, and when they open it, it's Zod's body. So obviously Lex Luthor is involved. Maybe he's involved in the cleanup of Metropolis, because there were trucks in the in Man of Steel at the end where it had LexCorp on it. So maybe he's kind of like a city savior. He helps rebuild or something. But he's also, like, as we all know, he's Superman's arch enemy. From the comic books, through the films, the TV shows, Lex Luthor's been there as the numero uno arch enemy. And he's always been suspicious of Superman. He's like, he's an alien, you know, he's foreign, he's not from here. Lex Luthor is he's always been a very fucking paranoid character. And, you know, Jesse Eisenberg says, like, devils don't come from hell beneath us, they come from the sky. You know, reference Superman, like, and he's like, you don't trust him. But what's brilliant about this trailer, there are two key moments in the trailer for Lex Luthor that are they're interesting, and again, no huge explanation to them. They just show them. And again, you saw the pictures yourself. There's a moment where it seems that Superman is on his knees, bowing down before Lex Luthor. You know, and Lex kind of puts a hand down by Superman's head, almost maybe to pat him on the head or something. And then you see Superman just look up at him with utter disgust and anger. So you're wondering, why the hell is Superman, the strongest man in the fucking galaxy, kneeling before him? So, but later on in the trailer, there may be a clue as to why he is, because there's a moment in the trailer where Lex is looking at something encased in glass, and it's what I assume is kryptonite, because it's glowing green, and Lex Luthor is just staring at it. Like, maybe he knows what it is and what it can do, and maybe this is why, maybe this is why fucking Superman is bowing to it. Because obviously he's got kryptonite, he can fucking hurt him, because as we know, kryptonite is lethal to Superman. And yeah, well, again, we'll find out next year. You know, March 2016, I said, is when it is. I think they were probably aiming for a more summer release, but they didn't want to clash with Captain America. You know, another Captain America film will be out as well. There's a lot of superhero stuff happening, so I suppose they just wanted to not clash with anything. And it just looks phenomenal. I mean, there's so many, like, you know, fight scenes, you know, again, as I mentioned earlier, with Batman in the armor stomps Superman onto the ground, and it just looks phenomenal. You know, I can't wait to see it. And I've always been kind of slightly, I wouldn't say upset or annoyed really, but it kind of like Batman and Superman are my all-time favorite superheroes. No, there's no better in my opinion. So to see them in conflict is kind of, oh god, because who do you root for? I mean, obviously I'll go with Superman, but I love Batman as well. You know, who do you root for in a fight like that? But there is an indication. I mean, we all know, like, you know, that they do end up as kind of friends, because, you know, they're obviously in the Justice League together with Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and other characters. And it's and I don't like seeing them in conflict, because, you know, you're friends, you're both for fucking doing the right thing and helping out. You know, why the hell are you fighting? But the trailer ended, right? The trailer ends with what I think is like a glimmer of hope, because presumably this movie may be maybe 2.5 hours long, and I wouldn't think for the entirety of the film it's Batman and Superman hating each other and baiting the crap out of each other. You know, it's like in the Avengers. You know, in the Avengers when they first started getting together, the superheroes like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, there was a bit of suspicion because they didn't know each other. You know. But then towards the end, more respect grows. They see more of each other and what they're like, and they obviously don't hate each other anymore. They're buddies. And there's a trailer at the end of the trailer. There's a moment that kind of, you know, gives me hope that, you know, this movie isn't going to be they're enemies. There's a scene at the end where Superman is making his way towards the Batmobile, and it seems like the Batmobile has crashed into something, you know, obviously maybe in some distress. And you just see Superman ripping the doors off it and just throwing them to the side. And there's sparks flying off the Batmobile, so obviously it's been damaged. Maybe it crashed something hit it, I don't know. But you see Superman there, after ripping off the doors, just standing there, and you see Batman rise up out of the Batmobile just looking at him. He doesn't jump at him. He doesn't kind of, you know, try to hit him. He just stands up in the fucking driver section of what I presume is the driver section of the Batmobile. Just stands up and is just looking at him. You know, it's kind of a distance shot, but you can see this. You know, it's the silhouette of the Batman, and he's just looking at Superman. They're face to face, and it's only a brief moment before they cut to the logo, and that's the end of the trailer. So that to me is kind of hopeful because it seems that Superman is helping him out. Because the trailer also seems to indicate that he doesn't really like Batman either. You know, because there's a moment where Perry White, Lawrence Fishburne, who is playing Perry White, is talking down to Clark Kent and tells him nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman. Because it would seem that Clark Kent, Superman, views Batman as a vigilante, you know, a thug. And again, they don't really understand each other, you know, each other's motivations. You know, Batman don't understand Superman and vice versa. But that scene at the end of the trailer kind of gave me hope because, you know, it seems like the Batmobile's in distress. Superman rips the doors off, and Batman rises up out of it and just, you know, they're face to face. They're not shouting at each other. They're not fighting. They're just looking at each other. And that's a great moment because it sets the pace for what's to come. Because again, Wonder Woman's in the movie. She seems to be involved in the fight as well. I think there's probably another bad guy as well. I mean, there has to be. It can't just be Lex Luthor. I mean, there are rumors that it's Doomsday. And for those who don't know, Doomsday was the kind of Kryptonian monster who killed Superman. At one point, in the comic book, Superman was dead, but they brought him back, and it was Doomsday who killed him. So there has been rumors that that's what it's going to be. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe Lex Luthor has a hand in creating Doomsday. You know, he has Zod's body. He might use Kryptonian DNA for his own purposes or something. I don't know. But again, that's the rumor that Doomsday is going to be in it. So he could be. I don't know. But that bit at the end when you see them face to face is almost the setup for the Justice League. Because obviously Batman and Superman aren't going to be in the Justice League if they hate each other. You know, so one of them's obviously not going to be in it because they'd be enemies. So they have to resolve that conflict because again, the conflict seems to be that Bruce Wayne don't trust Superman and vice versa. But that obviously will be sorted. And that bit at the end of the trailer seems to indicate that it will, because when Batman gets out of the Batmobile and he's standing toe to toe with Superman, he's not trying to hit him. He's not trying to, you know, whip out a Kryptonian weapon to beat him up or have some kryptonite. He's just staring at him. It's almost like that's the moment when they realize, yeah, he's not bad. You know, he just helped me out. He could have left me to die. Because again, it looks like the Batmobile is in some distress because there's like sparks flying off it and there's like a fire under it, like it crashed or something. Maybe like a weapon hit it or something. I don't know. But yeah, overall it was a fucking great 3.5 minutes, and I pretty much watched it every single day since it came out. I downloaded it. It's on my iPod. I watch it a lot because it satisfies me until I see the actual film itself, you know, which will again March 2016, and it's looking good. You know, I'm hopeful for it because like a lot of people had issue with the new interpretation of Superman, but I liked it. It's not Christopher Reeve. It's a new interpretation for a new generation of fans, and the fact that we're finally going to see Batman and Superman in the same movie on the screen together, it's fucking phenomenal. It looks fantastic. The look of the movie, the look of the suits, the costumes, looks fantastic. Old, like, you know, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Right, well, I think that's enough of that for now. Again, apologies for the absence. I've got 2 other topics that are coming up, so I'll basically be doing 1 a week for the next like 2 odd weeks. Because, you know, I'll publish this video and then I'll publish the next one and the next one. So there'll be 3 consecutive videos in a row. So I'll record the second one soon enough and I'll post that one next week. And the topic of the next video is about another superhero, or what's this superhero, more like anti-hero film. You know, I won't say what it's called, you probably already know, but it looks great. It'll be interesting to talk about because I don't really know a whole lot about it. As much as a geek as I like to think I am, there's a lot of geek things that I don't know about. And this one in particular, when I heard they were making a movie about this particular group, Um, I'm looking forward to it, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. So obviously, I know a lot about it now, but I didn't when I heard they were doing this. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to make that video because I'm not as knowledgeable about it as I would be about Batman or Superman. So I'm looking forward to making that video. So again, feel free to let me know what you think, your thoughts on the matter, and again, I'll include a link to the actual trailer itself in the description box. And yeah, that's about it. Take care, and I will see you again next week. Bye bye.